So there's no secrets out there with the golf swing anymore, is there? And if you want to hit driver longer and straighter, we all know we need to get that ball position further forward, get that spine tilt away from target, hit up on the ball. Oh, but all too often we see that hideous slice, which from a really good club head speed has literally gone nowhere. So how many of you golfers watching try and hit up on the ball and yet seem to slice the ball more and more than ever? Well, what if I said to you, there's actually a missing link to the golf swing that you maybe not putting into there that's actually making it incredibly difficult for you to hit the kind of drives you're after. But by the end of today's video, you're going to be hitting it longer and straighter than ever before. So your golf swing is a big circle around your body. And when we stand to the side of the golf ball, obviously the circle creates, there's an angle and therefore a path. But something called swing direction is really important. So the direction that the golf swing is moving at the lowest point of the golf swing. So if you're somebody who's trying to hit up on the golf ball, your low point is then behind the ball. And as the low point's behind, by the time the club gets back to the ball, that path is going more out to in. Now, what makes it incredibly difficult is actually what most golfers are doing in their golf swing makes them swing left or out to in to begin with. And as we saw with that one there, my swing direction was actually minus 9.7 degrees, and then the path was even more exaggerated than that. Because from this setup, what we see a lot of golfers do is they're in a pretty decent position here. And I don't necessarily need to change much of this, maybe just one little thing. But as they move back, they let the weight shift into that trail leg. But then they stay back on that leg, get the hips turning out the way. Now, down the line, if we see that, we get to the top, we stay back, turn the hips out the way, and we can see that club's working much more from out to in, swinging left. And then unfortunately, that path as you hit up is going to be absolutely dreadful. And if you manage to leave that club face anywhere near the target, the ball's going to set off straight. You might even leave it open to target, set off right, and it is gone. And it's a glancing blow, and it goes nowhere. So what we need to do is we need to change the direction the circle's going so that we swing more from the inside, so that as you get to that low point and the club starts to track up, it becomes much straighter on the way to the ball. And potentially we don't need to hit up quite as much as you think. So my first little adjustment would be I would have the ball a little further back than normal. Rather than having it super forward and that maybe even pulling the shoulders open, get the ball just inside the heel, maybe even opposite the armpit. But what we want to do from here is rather than try to get everything perfectly square, we want to feel that we almost get the hips, even the feet, just aligning a little bit more to the right, almost closing that stance. And don't be even afraid as you get that spine tilt to tilt the shoulders more over to the right. So if we were to do that and just set up and swing, what we would start to see is even though the club face would have been a little bit right of target, the swing direction is now 6.6 degrees from the inside. The club's travelled up 3.4 degrees. The path, therefore, is only 3 degrees from the inside. The face was a little bit open to the path because of the stripe being slightly toey, but we can see all of a sudden 70 yards pick up in distance. Now, some golfers initially won't get that shape back. What they'll do is they'll leave the club face there a little bit, and it'll almost be a bit more of a pushy one to the right. If you're one of those golfers, instead of them being perfectly square with the club face, just close that club face down slightly. But you see, I didn't really need to do that. But the big difference there is changing the direction of the golf swing. So rather than being here and swinging this way, we want to feel that we align everything a bit more to the right and still shift towards the target. That'll get the club dropping down behind us. Then you can swing through. And every single golfer I work with, as long as the club face isn't dreadful still as they hit the ball, you see a completely different shape of shot. You see much more energy transferred from club head to golf ball, and just lots more control in the swing. So anytime you've got more energy into the ball, there's potential more distance. And then if you've got more control on how you're delivering it, you're going to be more accurate. And comment below if you don't want longer and straighter drives. So we're going to set up again. Feel like ball position not quite as far back. Going to feel like everything's a little bit more closed off than would normally be. And then feel like we're going to move the direction of the circle more out to the right than normal. Now that one turning over a bit more than I would like to see. Bit low off the face, but still massive pickup on distance and still incredibly playable. And I'm pretty sure if you're someone that's had that horrible slice or the one that gets in play that just feels like it goes nowhere because it's a glancy blow, you won't mind seeing that ball turn over. Now, definitely with my golf game, certainly a long time ago when I was a junior, I used to play with a big swingy draw with driver and a big draw with irons. Now, since I've taken shape off with the irons, probably found it more difficult to draw the ball with driver. And if anything, probably more naturally now tend to hit a little bit of a fade. But if I'm going to hit that straighter one, I get it turning over, this is exactly what I work on. And it's lovely being able to feel that I can almost aim slightly right of target if I want. Watch that ball position doesn't creep too far forward. Align everything to the right, and then really focus, shifting onto that left side, swinging out to the right. And if you can stand up there and really commit to the swing, even the one that's not perfect is good speed, again strike a bit low on the face, but loving the slight mishit being 242 carry and 263 total. But the missing link for most golfers, yes, hitting up's great. You know, yes, getting that club face is good towards the target. But if the direction of the circle's too much to the left to begin with, the more you hit up, the more out to in your swing. If you square the club face up, it's a big pull. If you get it somewhere in between the way you're swinging and the target, it might get back. But so many golfers struggle with that. So work through what I've spoken about in this video. Get swinging the swing direction more to the right and start hitting your driver longer and straighter than ever before.